The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now, from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here are your hosts of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard and Taylor Welch.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for February 8th, 2026. This is season 15, episode number 44, and this is episode number 558 in the long-running podcast. It is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. I am Bob Howard. She is a warm and toasty
Taylor Welch.
Yes, and the reason why I say that is because after the game on Saturday night, Taylor and Jeremy got in a car and drove all the way down to Florida. Taylor, tell everyone where you guys are at.
We are in Palm Coast, Florida.
Wow, that even sounds warm. I'm gonna be honest. What is the temperature like right now in Palm Coast, Florida?
It is 60 degrees out.
60 degrees out. It is. I'm not going to look at my thing, but I know it did not get over 10 at all today. So you guys are definitely in a warmer state of mind than we are right now. And we're all jealous as we're listening to this. I spent most of the day outside trying to dethaw some pipes that decided to freeze here at the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York. But that's just the way it is. And tell everyone kind of what's the game plan. You guys are there for some racing, right?
Yeah, Volusia is racing all week long, and so that's kind of the afternoon plans for every night of this week. And then during the day, we're going to hit up some touristy spots and just kind of do some exploring and some sightseeing. Which
is pretty cool. Very awesome. And it's just nice to be in warm weather, right? And it's not brutally warm. It's like just the right type of warm, right?
Oh, it's like my favorite kind of warm. It's like it's like if you walk outside and it's a beautiful spring day, like the sunshine, the wind, the weather, the temperature. It's like the perfect temperature right now. And then I guess it's been cold enough at night that like people are actually wearing sweatshirts, which is also my favorite type of weather, especially when it comes to racing. So I am extremely excited. Plus, just seeing the sunshine and the wide open blue skies and just kind of feeling, it's been great. And I've only been here for a couple hours.
Yeah, Taylor, talk a little bit about the feeling that it was that the Black Bears did what they did. So let's talk about the overall kind of feeling of the weekend. They win both games 5-0. It's the only time in Black Bears history that they shut out a team for the whole weekend. They were close to that once with the Mississippi Sea Wolves when they came in. I think we won like 10-1 or 9-0, something like that. I believe those were the scores. And so they were close there, but this time, 2 shutouts against the Indiana Sentinels. To me, 2 games you should win, but it was a good feeling at the end of those 2 games, knowing that the team played well defensively and got the 2 wins that they definitely should have.
Yeah, I think the overall consensus is that they're back to being the Black Bears that we've seen, the beginning of the season and throughout most of the season. There was a couple comments that, Sentinels are an easy team. We should be able to win against them type of thing, but I wouldn't sleep on them. I really wouldn't. I think Everett has, I think if he had a full season under him, or even if he had this team since the beginning of the year, that they would be in a different standing than they are right now. I do think he is creating something, decent over there. I have never once, I think out of any of the games where I've sat near the bench, been able to hear Brant Sherwood screaming his head off, and I could hear Everett from where we were sitting. And I think there were other people throughout the arena that could hear him whenever they were sitting. But
and most of the time he was yelling at his own players too, right?
Yeah. That's what I saw some of the comments about that. And, I didn't notice it Friday night, but then on Saturday, I was like, who's yelling? And I look over and it was him. And I was like, holy, I couldn't believe that I could hear him. But I'm definitely glad to see, they switched some things up as far as they took Ramekers off the forwards and put him back on defense. And I don't know if that was, the biggest change, or if that, was the thing that they were missing, or, whether they figured out what they were missing in practice and kind of reviewing the previous losses and kind of going over that footage some more. But it definitely, whatever they worked on or whatever they talked about, it seemed to kind of click. And I just think they came out a much better team than they did in previous weekend.
I will be the one to say that they should beat the Indiana Sentinels. The Indiana Sentinels do not have an offensive game to them. It's not any disrespect. When I talked to Everett Thompson back in November when we played against them the first time, he said the thing I have to work on the most is defense, trying to teach the team to play a team defense, something that I've talked about with the Black Bears. So I will say we should have beat them. We did beat them. And I think if it wasn't for the Sentinels really kind of decent play in their own zone and being able to kind of plug up the holes a little bit, these games could have been 8-0. They could have been 9-0. They could have been 10-1, whatever. But they ended up being only 5 goals we scored either day. And I don't think that's a knock on the Black Bears offense. I think that's just a little bit of respect given to the Sentinels defense. So, but it'll be interesting to see what they do going into, obviously, the upcoming weekend against the Port Huron Prowlers, right? Port Huron Prowlers have a little bit better of a forecheck. They can play a little bit better in the defensive zone or the offensive zone, like in front of Dominic Tomei. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there versus with Indiana, they can be a physical team, Taylor, but not at the same realm as what the Port Huron Prowlers do. So a lot of people said these were bounce back wins. I don't look at them that way at all. These are games that they should win. And this upcoming weekend on Friday night, that's more of a bounce back win if they go down there on Friday and win in Port Huron.
Yeah, I think the Port Huron series will be interesting. I'm pretty sure Lockhart is still called up. I don't know if there's any plans on him coming back before the following weekend.
Right.
And their goalie just got called up as well. I don't know if that was just a weekend thing or if he's going to be gone for a while. He's up in the ECHL right now.
Yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting to kind of see how that unfolds, because I know Lockhart was kind of one of the bigger pains. I know they have quite a few of them.
Brockway,
but yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting because it's always harder to play an away game. Mm-hmm. And, Port Huron's always been rougher. The physicality, they have the speed and the physicality to kind of keep up.
Yeah.
And I think if they can kind of get themselves in a situation by getting Port Huron to take penalties, then I think either way they're going to be fine. But if I was the Black Bears and that's the way that Port Huron plays, I would try to get them into penalties. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah.
I would let them, make a fool of themselves, get them in the penalty box, and then just capitalize on those power plays.
I don't disagree with you at all. Okay. The Power Play Post is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook, search Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Be sure to like, comment, and share your latest episodes with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net. Coming up on this episode of the Power Play Post Show, 6 more questions with Black Bears forward Gehrett Sargis, and from the Twin City Thunderbirds, my conversation with Chris Mott. So we got a lot of stuff there, but we're going to keep the show moving along because we do have 2 games with the Indiana Sentinels to get through, plus one small interview and a regular interview. So Taylor, let's keep this thing rolling.
Well, I'm just gonna kind of say real quick that I don't know how the fans are gonna feel about the Chris Mott interview. I mean, he scored on us, man.
Yeah, he did. And here's the thing about that. I got a little ribbon from a couple of the Black Bears players on Saturday night about having Chris Mott on. But I will say this: if any of the current Black Bears players do leave the team and go play for other teams, and I have the opportunity to bring them back on the show, I'm certainly going to do that. There's a relationship that I've built up over the years with some of these players, and I'm going to continue that relationship as much as I can and as much as they want as well. So I get it. I realize, but I think a lot of the fans would like to hear from Chris.
Yeah, it was just, I'm sure there's a couple of people that are going to, kind of pick on you about it. But as far as everything that I've read about, it's once a Black Bear, always a Black Bear kind of mindset here.
Yeah. Well, Cam Servone definitely let me have it a little bit. So it was kind of funny that he brought it up and he goes, so you're having a Thunderbird on the show. And I was like, Cam, it's Chris Ma. It's okay. And he just had a big smile on his face. So got a little ribbon from Chris on that.
Well, at least you know that they're still paying attention to the show and knowing what's going on. That's got to be a good feeling.
It is. It is.
The Power Play Post Show relies on your support to grow. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and like the episode. Those actions help YouTube recommend the show to more hockey fans, expanding our reach and supporting future content. Subscribe and like to help the show continue moving forward.
All right. So one big thing that happened, and I want to talk about this before we actually go into our 6 more questions with Gehrett Sargis. Binghamton is the first team to hit 100,000 plus fans. After 23 games played at home, they are now at 100,100 fans after Saturday's game, which is pretty cool. The Black Bears have 8 sellouts on the season, and now with only 5 home games left in the 18 remaining games. So that means we have 13 games on the road, Taylor, 5 games at home. We're at 100,000. Say we sell out all 5 of those games, that's about 40,000. That would put us around 140,000 fans. I don't foresee us selling out that much, right? What is it? It's 5 times, right? Yeah, 5 times. No, it'd be about 20,000 fans. I don't see us selling out all 5 of those games, but it'd be interesting to see how we do. Right now, we're on pace to do better than the Black Bears have done in their franchise, and probably since about, let's see here, 2003, 2004 with the Binghamton Senators.
That's crazy. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the last 5 were sold out because, you know, we have a couple weekend stints where they're away. And then, I mean, 18 games left and only 5 of them are home. So yeah. I wouldn't really be surprised if, you know, quite a few of those, if not all, ended up being sellouts because, you know, the fan support here in Binghamton is, I truly believe, is unmatched compared to the rest of the league. And I think, especially, you know, as the season's winding down, you might even get people traveling to watch the team play in Binghamton. Yeah. So yeah. I think it'll be interesting to kind of see how these last 5 home games play out. But, you know, 18 left, and I'm pretty sure most of those are still Watertown, aren't they?
There's a few Watertown games for sure. I think 6 or 7 at least. But they're up in Watertown. Yeah, this upcoming trip to Michigan is really the last long trip that the Black Bears have. They didn't have a lot of really far overnight way stuff. Really, it's going to end up being Watertown and Danbury almost the rest of the way after this Port Huron trip. Oh, no, they go to Indianapolis. That's right. They go to Columbus, Indiana to play the Sentinels once as well. So they will go to the Midwest twice more. And but otherwise, it's mostly just Danbury and Watertown games. Watertown after this.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad of a deal. I mean, to not have that much traveling, you know, and especially not having the 3-3s and, you know, the kind of crazy stuff that's happened before. Yep. But aside from, you know, only having a couple home games left, I'm not too bad about the schedule. And, you know, obviously not playing every team, even in our divisions, still kind of, you know, that sucks. But it is what it is. And, you know, I think we've got the better deal with how our season has gone so far. So
now I
can't complain there.
I think according to the Evil Grinch, which is Gary Ryan, who keeps track of the magic numbers, I think we only need 2 more points, either that we earn or that the 5th place Danbury Hat-Tricks don't get, and then we are technically in the playoffs, to officially make the playoffs, which is kind of crazy to think that with 95 points and 32 wins, you would already be in the playoffs. But technically, Danbury, if we lost out and they won the rest of the way, they could beat us in the points department and get into the playoffs or finish them. Probably at that point, they would be finishing at least almost first in the division. We're not going to lose the rest of the games, so that's not a big deal. So a couple points in Port Huron would secure that. But who's in 4th place right now that we would face in the first round of the playoffs if everything ended the way it is right now? The Blue Ridge Bobcats. Now, everybody in the FPHL is hoping for that matchup. I don't know if Blue Ridge is hoping for that matchup, but everybody else is hoping for that matchup. I'm actually hoping for that one as well. Now, Blue Ridge is only 2 points behind Topeka, so they could technically pass Topeka, and then we'd be playing Topeka, which means that first game we'd be going out to Topeka, Kansas, and that would be a little bit of a crazy jaunt, but that's just the way the FPHL is right now.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to play Blue Ridge. Just kind of see how that would all. It would be crazy for it to be in the playoffs, but hey, I think there's probably. I mean, I'm assuming they have quite a few of the same guys. I mean, obviously they don't have Wolf on there, which
Nope.
I know he was kind of a major pass from last year that kind of kick-started the whole shenanigans of that weekend. But it would definitely be interesting to play Blue Ridge, especially for the first round. It would be kind of cool to see how we would match up against them because obviously we don't play them in any part of the season. But yeah, I kind of agree with you that it would be kind of fun to play them, and it would be, I think, way less of a travel distance instead of having to go out to Topeka.
Exactly. I think Topeka is like probably 15 hours for Binghamton. I don't know. I didn't look it up before just saying that, but it's probably something like that. Where Blue Ridge, it's 8 hours, right? So I'd rather go down to Blue Ridge at that point for that game. All right. Coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show, we're going to do 6 more questions with Gehrett Sargis, and then we will come back and break down game number 1 from Friday night against the Indiana Sentinels. So we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Bolchinski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Very excited to go through 6 more questions with Gehrett Sargis. Sarge, you ready for these?
Yep.
Just a yep. Okay.
Shoot them out. There we go.
All right. Number 1. Who was the greatest influence on your hockey career?
Greatest influence. It's a good question. It's funny. Probably, I would have to say my mom. Just actually, I don't think there was anyone specific. Like, didn't have really anybody growing up, that played, but she helped and supported and kind of got me into it. So I would say, hands down, yeah, my mom.
No matter what, any player that I ever talked to, and some, have said when they've answered this question in the past, like, oh, this player from this team or something like that. But in almost every conversation I've ever had with a hockey player, if I ever talk about their youth, they always say, I couldn't have done what I've done without my family, without my parents, without my mom or my dad, that type of thing. So it doesn't surprise me, because even when I talk about playing hockey or learning to skate as a kid, it was my mom. My mom taught me how to skate. Which probably some coaches are probably, mad at her about later on, but it was my mom. So I can completely understand that. It's a great answer. Number 2, what is your dream job outside of playing hockey? Have you?
It's a good question.
Have you thought about it?
Have I thought about it? I mean, yeah, but I think anything really that, just something meaningful that that is that you can help with and feel rewarded and enjoy doing. But as far as that, no, I haven't quite found it just yet.
What was your major at Robert Morris?
Business administration.
Yeah. So there's opportunities there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Number 3, which artist is on your Spotify playlist the most? Like, if you were going to go pick somebody to listen to right now, who would it be?
You got to talk to Weebs, whatever he plays in the locker room.
Well, I know he loves rock and roll and metal and all that kind of stuff. He's got everything. You know what? I'm all over the place. I can listen to anything. I can listen, it's like, depending on what I'm doing, where I'm at, say working out, hanging out, could be, it's like EDM to, I could listen to Christian, rock or music. I can listen to old 90s, whatever music,
I'm not a huge rap guy, but yeah, there's some like older stuff that's, not great, country. But I don't think I have a, set thing on, for music, just kind of whatever, depending on what I'm doing.
When you're working out, is it, do you want a high tempo type of thing?
The only time I listen to music really is doing legs to try to get me going. So that would be like a EDM type thing, to get me going.
Nice. All right, number 4. We kind of talked about this a little bit before we actually started recording the Thursday interview. Who is the most interesting guy in the locker room? And I know you and I talked about a particular individual because, it's been brought up a few different times. But for you, when you look around the locker room, who is the most interesting guy in the locker room?
You put me on the spot. There's too many. There's too many to go from. There's so many. Jeets is hilarious. He's funny. Cheech is cool. I can go down the list. Most interesting. Just from this weekend, Saturday, got to hang out with Swain. He's a character, so I'll go with Swain.
Nice. All right. Number 5, and I'm not even sure you're going to have an answer for this because you take care of your body so well. What is your favorite candy or sweet?
Favorite sweet would be molten lava cake with ice cream.
Oh, Jesus. Now I want that. I like that too. Trust me. I'm a big chocolate guy. So you give me a molten lava cake with ice cream, vanilla. It's all. It's perfect. That's a perfect dessert. I'll be honest.
It's a game changer. Yeah,
it is
good.
All right, number 6, the final one. This is the one that we've kept in the rotation since we started doing this. A zombie outbreak has happened and you're locked in an ice hockey arena. Who is the one person, dead or alive, fictional or non-fictional, that you would want in there with you?
I grew up watching all the Rocky, so we'll go Sylvester Stallone.
Perfect. The guy can write a movie about Rocky. He obviously wrote Rocky 1. I think Rocky 2 as well. But, if he could write that and think of that, and he's probably got that inside of him, Sylvester Stallone is a great answer.
Yeah, he is. He's very cool. That and then the Rambos.
Oh, the Rambos are great. See, you're closer to my age, so you remember those movies and how great they were. Yeah. So that works for me. Gehrett, thank you very much again. I appreciate it. We're looking forward to the rest of the season, and thank you very much for coming on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
Perfect. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. That was 6 More Questions with Gehrett Sargis. And he's not the last person you're going to hear from here on the show other than Taylor and I. And that would be, of course, our friend Chris Mott. He'll be up a little bit later on here in the show. But Taylor, let's get into Friday night's game against the Indiana Sentinels.
Black Bears shut out Sentinels on Friday night in Binghamton 5-0. February 6, 2025, Visions Veterans Memorial Arena, Game 37 of the season, Indiana Sentinels at Binghamton Black Bears. Binghamton opened the scoring early and carried the momentum through the first period, taking a 3-0 lead after 20 minutes of play. Defenseman Austin D'Orazio put the Black Bears on board at the 4:03 mark of the opening period, finishing a play set up by CJ Stubbs and Ivan Bondarenko to give Binghamton a 1-0 advantage. The Black Bears extended the lead well short-handed later in the period with Scott Ramaker serving a tripping minor. Binghamton controlled possession in the offensive zone, and CJ Stubbs scored his 29th goal of the season at the 15:44 mark, assisted by D'Orazio and Bondarenko, making it 2-0. Binghamton closed out the period with a power play goal in the final minute after Noah Hippolyte-Smith was called for tripping. The Black Bears needed just 9 seconds to capitalize as Stubbs netted his second goal of the night, 1941. Bondarenko and Durazio picked up the assist on the play, sending Binghamton into the first intermission with a 3-goal lead.
I think for everybody involved, Black Bears, coaches, fans, they needed a period like that. I realize who we were playing against, but I think just seeing that probably let a little sigh of relief going, okay, we're all right. You know, a seventh place team is not going to come in here and kind of mess around with the Black Bears. They were able to get that 3 goals. I think it let a little bit of sigh of relief within everybody. Do you agree?
Yeah, I honestly think that even that first shorthanded goal kind of set the tone on how this game was going to go and that the Black Bears were going to control and dominate it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, scratches in the game with C.J. Hapward. Sirota is still in Peoria, and Kirkby is still in Roanoke. Now, we have been hearing a little bit here and there that Kirkby could be back. Now, Brant Sherwood mentioned that on the Tully show last Tuesday, and then I heard again that Kirkby could be back, if not going to be back. Now, I think Mac Jansen said something during the jersey auction, correct?
Yeah, that's what I was told. I was writing something down, but Jeremy had said that Jansen said Kirkby was going to be back today. So I don't know what the truth is that, because Brooks had said that, you know, Tyson would sign the jersey when he comes back, and Jansen said he was going to be back tomorrow.
Yeah, so
it'll be interesting to see if that's true or not.
Agreed. All right, starters was Ivan Bondarenko, CJ Stubbs, Mac Jansen, Austin Durazio, Dan Stone, and Dominic Tumay. We cannot argue that a start like that for the Black Bears can't disagree with that kind of start. We needed it. Black Bears take the first penalty of the game at the 20:27 mark of the first period. It was Shankar for high sticking. The CJ Stubbs shorthanded goal was the 4th of the season for the Black Bears, 2nd versus the Sentinels, and it was Stubbs' 2nd shorty of the season. Black Bears get their first power play at 2:41 left to go in the period. Great play by Stubbs to get the power play goal. They didn't need a lot of time, just 9 seconds, which was awesome. The Black Bears need to keep pressuring into the second period. Power play opportunities, Binghamton was 1 for 2, but also Indiana was 0 for 2, yet we got the first shorthanded goal of the game in one of those. So shots on goal, Binghamton 16, Indiana 5. And I think that's a little bit of a trend throughout the weekend about the discrepancies on the shots on goal.
Yeah, it definitely is. Binghamton continued to build its lead in the second period, adding another goal while playing shorthanded with Jacob Shankar serving an unsportsmanlike conduct minor. The Black Bears generated offense down a man once again. Ivan Bondarenko scored Binghamton's 2nd shorthanded goal of the game at the 14:50 mark of the period, finishing a play set up by CJ Stubbs to extend the Black Bears lead to 4-0 with 5:10 remaining in the middle frame.
Yeah, you know, when they made it 4-0, I was like, okay, so I could see the way this game was going. And Taylor, I think through 40 minutes, you could really see the Black Bears were able to carry the puck, keep possession of the puck. The Sentinels were able to, in a lot of cases, because I thought this game could have been 8 or 9-0 if it wasn't for the defense from the Sentinels. And because we were controlling the puck a lot, getting into the zone, and we were able to move it around, and the Sentinels were making stops, either blocking shots or they were getting saves from Chris Kerr, but the Black Bears just could not sink some of them. They had a lot more chances, but, you know, at least in this case, it was going their way, so to speak, but you could tell in the first 40 minutes, this just looked like a better team, and defensively on the back end, Binghamton looked really good as well.
Yeah, I think something that we saw in both games was that Indiana kind of did a pretty decent job of blocking shots as much as they could. And even the couple chances, I know Sargis and even Gates, I think, got robbed a couple of times from the netminders. And I mean, they changed goalies per game, so I got to give them kind of both credit for this. But, you know, there was a couple times where Sargis would go in completely alone and, you know, they would make the save. So, you know, I kind of got to give him credit for that, because that's got to be a hard thing to do anyways. And, you know, we've had a couple shorthanded goals, so it wouldn't have surprised me if we could go in, you know, if a guy could go in alone and get a goal on, but they weren't able to. And I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to kind of witness.
Now, there was a few moments in this weekend that we can agree that Binghamton brought the physicality to the game. And that was one of my first points in the second period. Everett Thompson got an unsportsmanlike penalty because he was not happy with the Cam Cervone hit on one of his players who came off the ice in pain and slowly. So that was another aspect to the game, I thought, this weekend, this past weekend, both games, where Binghamton brought some of the physicality to the games.
Yeah, I've definitely been noticing that quite a lot more, especially with Emery and Shankar kind of working together on that same line. And, I even made a note about saying this in the impact players, is that when they're both on the ice, you're almost guaranteed that at least one of them is going to lay a body against a body. And, you're starting to see it come from quite a few of the other players as well, and not just Shankar and Emery. Like Kyle Steffen has been doing it. Cervone's done it a couple of times. Weber's attempted it a couple of times. Even Stone, he tries to do what Oliveri used to do, where he would, try to use his butt to kind of lay hits. And he hasn't connected on a lot of them yet. I couldn't tell you the last time that he did, but he's definitely trying. And, he's trying to use his body a little bit more. And I think it's just something that we're overall seeing a lot more of kind of coming out through these other players.
Black Bears controlled the pace of the play so much better in this game and even in the period. Through 10 and a half minutes, the Sentinels only had 3 shots on goal to the Black Bears 7. With 9:21 left to go in the middle period, Chris Kerr had an issue with his goalie mask. He needed to get it repaired, and it delayed the game about 3 minutes. They did go back to the corner, and I think they told John Werber, you need to get ready because pretty soon we're going to pull Kerr off the ice. So I'm kind of glad Kerr really hurried up. There was something wrong with his mask, I believe it was, and they did some repairs on it, and they got it repaired, and they got it taken care of, and he went back into net. But they were starting to get Werber up to get him warmed up to come in. So that was an option there. 2 shorthanded goals on the night so far through 40 minutes, taking advantage of open space being left by the Sentinels. And when you make a mistake, the Black Bears haven't pounced on those mistakes that people have made when the Black Bears are in the penalty kill much this year. Not like last year where they scored 18 shorthanded goals. At this point, through 40 minutes, we only had 5 shorthanded goals all season long, 2 of them being in that Friday night game. So that was pretty interesting there. Not as many goals in the first period as in the first period, but an excellent period for the Black Bears. Power play opportunities was Binghamton 0 for 1 and Indiana was 0 for 1. Shots on goal, Binghamton 15, Indiana 6, totals 31 and 11. Again, that disparity in shots on goal really comes down to, Taylor, I want to get your thoughts on this. When Indiana was able to get into their offensive zone and get in front of Dominic Tomei, both nights, they didn't seem to have really anything set up. It seemed like to me that only Ethan Esposito, who I think is the most gifted player on their team offensively, he was the only one that really kind of knew what to do, or there was a game plan for him. Everybody else didn't really seem to know what to do when they got into the offensive zone, and it really showed against the Black Bears.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like they were flustered, and they kind of like would come into the zone and then have absolutely no idea what the next step was.
Yeah.
And, that's where you see the Black Bears would just step in and just, immediately rip the puck from them and, take it back away or intercept a pass kind of thing. They definitely seemed like they would get in there, like they could get in, but then it was all lost after that. And, they weren't making anything happen. And then to kind of jump back on the Kerr thing with the helmet.
Yeah.
I know that they had actually taken the helmet from Werber and he was going to wear that one. And then they were still trying to get his fixed. And if you looked over, you actually saw Coach Q doing the hand circle motion, like, come on, let's get going. Like, it's been too long.
Yep.
And he was just sitting there, like, staring the goalie down and just kept doing it. But they would have definitely been interesting to have a goalie pulled because of the mask issue. And I had brought up the point, I think it was the playoffs 2 seasons ago, where Connor McNamara had the issue with his mask and he had taken like a minute or 2 to get it fixed, and everyone was freaking out in the comments that he needed to get pulled and that it should have been a delay of game and this, that, and the third. I think it was against Twin City. I think when that happened.
It did. Yeah, you're right.
So was remembering that moment. I was like, oh, I wonder if they're, going to, start getting mad and want to delay a game type of thing. But it didn't happen, and he got it fixed and was good to go. So
agreed. All right, let's go into the third period.
Binghamton added one more goal in the third period and completed the shutout to secure a 5-0 win over Indiana. Playing shorthanded for the fourth time in the game, the Black Bears struck again as Kyle Steffen scored Binghamton's third shorthanded goal of the night at the 12-minute mark of the period. Steffen finished a feed from Mac Jansen to push the lead to 5-0 with 8 minutes remaining. Binghamton closed out the remainder of the third period without allowing a goal, selling the shutout victory in front of 3,692 fans at the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena.
So very interesting. This was not a bounce back win. This is my opinion, folks. This is the editorial portion of the show. To me, this is not a bounce back win. This was a game the Black Bears should win, and they did everything correct to get the win. The penalty kill was amazing, better than we have seen all season. They killed all 6 chances the Sentinels had, but then scored on 3 of those kills. This was the first game in franchise history where the Black Bears scored 3 shorthanded goals in one game, which is so very cool. CJ Stubbs continues to lead this team offensively, plays on the power play, plays on the penalty kill. He's a complete player and having one of his best seasons of his career. Taylor, give me your thoughts on what we've seen through 38 games from CJ Stubbs.
Just one of his best seasons that I think he's ever had. And honestly, it's been absolutely wonderful to watch. And I know last season he kind of struggled to get on the scoreboard first and to kind of get that streak going and get the monkey off his back per se. But this season he's had absolutely no issue kind of finding the back of the net and getting points. And he's been absolutely stellar. And he's been, the person to step up when Tyson hasn't been able to be part of the team lineup and be out there on the ice. He's definitely been the man to kind of fill that position and keep the team on the winning streak and keep them on the up and up.
Totally agree. Now, my next point is kind of a little bit of a joke, but maybe it's not. Ivan Bondarenko could hit 100 assists this season if he keeps this up. Now, when I look at his numbers right now, he has 56 assists on the season. No, folks, I don't think he's going to hit 100 assists. But my gosh, it seems like every single game, Taylor is saying Bondarenko with 3 assists, Bondarenko with 2 assists, in the game. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, listen, there is 18 games left. If he hits 2 or 3 a game, which, my gosh, it could seem to do that, he could come very close to having 100 assists this season.
Well, you said he's got, 56 already?
Yeah, he's got 56. That's 44 left.
Yeah, so if he keeps on his streak of typically having 3 points a game, which, let's be honest, how many times have I said that this season?
Yeah.
He would have 54 more assists or 54 more points. I don't know if they'd all be assists, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were, to be honest. So, I mean, there's a good possibility. I mean, he had a pretty good opportunity, I think, in Saturday's game where he came in and he could have easily taken the shot himself, and he kind of waited for somebody else to come in to kind of give the pass up. So he's definitely one of those players that likes to assist instead of getting the goal for himself. And so, yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of like a joke kind of thing, but at the same time, it's almost not. I think he very well could have a good chance of getting it.
The team defense was excellent tonight. I think I counted maybe on Friday 2 odd man rushes, and the team recovered nicely on any turnovers. Would you agree that it seemed like if there was a turnover, if there was an odd man rush, that the team kind of circled back and was able to recover pretty nicely?
Yeah, they definitely had a better system for this weekend's game. You could kind of just see it on the ice that they were kind of prepared in case something, like a turnover happened, that they were ready and they were watching the blue line and kind of watching those cherry picker things happening. So they just overall seemed more, strategized in how they were going to play this game.
Yep. Black Bears topped the 90-point total, getting to 92 points on their 31st win. Black Bears' third shutout of the season. C-Mac has 1. Dominic Tomei has 2 for now. Tomei was solid on Friday night, only saw 15 shots, but made sure no rebound opportunities. That was another thing that I thought Tomei did good on his own, which was the rebound opportunities were very minimal, which is huge. Power play opportunities in that period, Binghamton had none, and Indiana went 0 for 3. shots on goal, Binghamton 13, Indiana 4, Binghamton 44 total, and Indiana 15. Okay, when you guys walked out of the arena that night, last point on this game before we move on, your thoughts walking out, like going, okay, we just witnessed a 5-0 win. All right. When I talked to a couple of the players, they were like, man, I just kind of wish I got, a couple more, or we got a couple more. I didn't feel that way when they walked out. I was like, okay, that was a pretty well played game by Binghamton, and Indiana played decently on defense. I know they gave up 5, and people don't say that, but it could have been 10. It could have been 9 goals. So I did think that Indiana played a little bit better on defense, and I didn't walk out of there going, man, I really wish the Black Bears would have scored more.
I think overall that maybe just some of the players were kind of wishing that it was more, because, let's be honest, we had 5 goals and 4 of them came from the same 3 people. Yeah, sure. As far as goals and assist wise. So I can kind of understand the players' point on wishing they wanted more, because, who doesn't want to get points in a game? But yeah, I definitely didn't leave the arena thinking that, like, oh, I wish they did more. I wish, more things happened or they got more goals kind of thing. It definitely felt like leaving the arena, and it wasn't so much about the 5-0 win. It was more about the Black Bears came into this game and they dominated, the puck possession, the flow of the game, the control of the game. Like they controlled every aspect as much as they possibly could throughout the entire 60 minutes. Right. And they didn't really let the Sentinels have any inch.
All right. Awesome. Let us wrap this one up with a bow.
Black Bears and Tomei shutout Sentinels 5-0. Austin Durazio scored his 15th goal of the season and assisted on 2 others for a 3-point night. CJ Stubbs scored his 29th shorthanded and his 30th power play goals of the season, assisted on 2 goals for a 4-point night. Ivan Bondarenko scored his 11th goal shorthanded of the season and assisted on the first 3 goals of the game for a 4-point night. Kyle Steffen scored his 7th goal of the season, a shorthanded goal, the Black Bears' 3rd of the game. Dominic Tomei saved all 15 shots he faced, earning his 17th win of the season and his 2nd pro shutout, improving his record to 17-2-1. The Black Bears' record improves to 31-5-1 with 92 points, yet the Black Bears improving on their lead in the Empire Division.
Okay, so great game on Friday. I think both teams played as well as they could have, so to speak. And all right, coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show, we're going to continue his story, a story that we started telling you last year on the Power Play Post Show, coming to you from the Twin City Thunderbirds. He is former Binghamton Black Bears forward and Commissioner's Cup champion, Chris Mott. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
You're listening to the Power Play Post Show. Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. I'm very excited to be able to get to talk to this gentleman again. I got to see him last Saturday in Binghamton, New York, as he and the Twin City Thunderbirds came in and maybe spoiled the fun for a sold-out crowd on a Saturday night. But he is Chris Mott. Chris, welcome back to the show. It's good to talk to you. It was great to see you, I think, 8 days now from the time from when this is going to be aired and everything. It was great to see you. Thank you very much for coming back on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great to see you as well.
Chris, let's talk a little bit about kind of what you've gone through over the past few months. You've played in a couple different places, played for some good organizations, but there's been movement for you. After, I know we talked back, I think it was in July, you had been picked up by the Topeka Scarecrows, and we'd already talked about that situation, and but you ended up in Athens with the Rock Lobsters. Talk a little bit about your time with the Rock Lobsters.
Yeah, obviously I was traded to Athens, I would say mid to late August, actually maybe even early September. They were able to work out a trade with Topeka, which was pretty nice. But yeah, obviously it was down in Athens from the beginning of the season to about December. Honestly, love being down there. Love the guys. Really great organization. They put their players first.
How's that rink?
It's unbelievable. It was just, I think, it got finished being built in, I think, January of 2025.
Yes.
Maybe a little before then. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Brand new state of the art facility. So obviously had a lot of fun being a part of that team and organization. Obviously happy they were able to give me the opportunity to go there and play. Got to enjoy some warmer weather, but overall it was a good time down there. Really enjoyed everybody and the team. So.
But from there, you got an opportunity to go play for Dan Brenner and the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. Was that an easy or a tough decision to kind of leave Athens to go to there? Is this something that you kind of had to think about, or no?
Well, at first I thought it was really just going to be like a couple, like 2 weekends. The way they kind of told me, they're like, "Hey, we're down bodies right now. I'd like to give you the opportunity to come in." So that's what I kind of envisioned in my head. And so I went up there. They gave me the call like the day before a game. They're like, "Hey, we need some guys." And after talking with Rutledge, she was like, "Yeah, I think it'll be a good experience for you. Go see how you do up in the SP, because it would be my first time playing in there."
Yeah.
So went there, played the 2 games. Thought I did pretty well. They were like, "Hey, we'd like to hold on to you for 1 more week." Obviously, they're still short bodies. And then the following weekend, did well again. And then they were saying like, "Hey, like we just like to hold on to you." Obviously, things change, timelines change, but they didn't really obviously give me a timeline. So obviously, yeah, definitely a difficult situation to decide if I wanted to stay with Roanoke or try and go back to Athens. Because I know at the time Athens was dealing with a bunch of guys on the IR as well. But at the time I just felt that after just being in Roanoke and kind of playing well and earning some ice time there, it just kind of felt right to kind of just try and stick that out and ride that out as long as I could.
Talk a little bit about the difference between the FPHL and the SPHL. I know that the play and the quality of the player is getting closer and closer and closer. And obviously, your time in Roanoke was really your first time in the SPHL. But being that you were on Binghamton last year, Athens this year, 2 of the top teams in the FPHL, can you kind of compare a little bit the quality of play and the quality of player between the 2 leagues? Is it closer than people ever thought it was?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's pretty close. When you get those like top matchups, like when you get Athens versus Binghamton, or and when I was in Athens and we would play Monroe, that was a really good team as well. Like those games definitely were right there with the SPHL. A little bit faster, maybe just a little more physicality for sure. I think those are the two biggest things. But like I said, these top teams all have guys that have been playing in the SPHL for years. So that's really kind of what makes these teams better down here in the FPHL. And those games are relatively similar to the SPHL level of speed and skill.
Some people have talked a little bit about the physicality as a difference. And you and I had this conversation a little bit as well last Saturday about sometimes the physicality is a little bit different between the SP and the Fed. And can you kind of explain to the fans what you mean by that, and maybe kind of like expand on what some of the other players have told me about how, you kind of like up there, you're maybe coached to kind of hit a little bit more than pass on by. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. One thing, obviously, that Dan Bremner harped on a lot with us, and I'm sure a lot of guys on Binghamton have all played for him, even Sherwood, that he's really big on just finishing your checks, doesn't like kind of guys flying by. And obviously that definitely makes a big difference in times. Like first couple minutes of the game, everybody's finishing their checks. The defense are going to kind of be like, "Oh, I got to go get this puck and get hit again." So causes them to be more on their toes, trying to make quicker plays, and hopefully with that, like, causes more turnovers and more success for us. But yeah, that was a big thing we kind of always they were harping on in Roanoke, was just being physical, finishing your checks.
Now, it's not that, teams in the Fed don't check, because they do. It's just a little bit of a different mindset than most people are used to. Now, as far as I could tell from the 2 games last year and the 2 games this year, Athens likes to be a lot more of a physical team, but they also have the high-end skill as well. Is that what you experienced when you got down there and you played the 11 games with them this year?
Kind of actually the opposite. I mean, obviously you kind of need teams to be physical, but I felt in Athens we were just a really like fast 200-foot team up and down the ice. Okay. I know that was the way he liked to coach, was just kind of get pucks north. Like, don't drag on to pucks. Don't pull it back into our zone. Let's just keep the pressure down in their zone as long as possible. Obviously, they have a lot of guys on that team with a lot of speed and skill. And I think that was what really they were focusing on in Athens.
Now, when you did leave Roanoke, obviously your first call is to Athens and say, hey, listen, I was just released. I'm coming down. And there was a move that same day, I think, to move you to Twin City. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's probably a little bit shocking. Probably, you had a chance to go back to Athens, but they basically said, nope, you're going to be going to Twin City. Talk a little bit about that day a little bit.
Yeah, so last week I was released from Roanoke, and then obviously tried to get in contact with coach of Athens, because obviously they still had my rights. And then after talking with Coach Rutledge, he was just kind of saying, like, sorry, like, we got no room right now. Obviously 20 man roster limit. Not really much room for give and take. So, and obviously being away for almost 2 months. So obviously fill spots. We got guys on the IR as well. So, obviously at the end of the day, it was a little bit shocking, but at the end of the day, it is a business, and
sure,
he's got to do what's best for his team. And obviously had nothing but great things to say about Harry and the Thunderbirds organization, considering he coached here, I believe, in 2021.
Yeah.
So obviously he was like, listen, I'm not going to send you to a bad spot. Obviously I loved my time down there. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's a business, and he's got to do what's best for him and the Athens organization.
Now, Chris, one of the things that I don't want to put you on the spot here, and I don't want you to say anything that you don't want to say, but you then, when this happened, you did send a text message to Coach Sherwood and talk to him a little bit about the change to go there, and probably because he knows Coach Harry and you wanted to get a little bit insight. To me, that was more about the relationship that you built with Coach Sherwood still too, and that you have that ability to reach out to him and talk to him a little bit about that. How important that is that in hockey for players, even though you're not on his team anymore, you can still have that conversation with him to help you still grow in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously I've built a great relationship with Sherwood last year, and obviously throughout this year, and obviously over the off season, that was, I could only do so much with Topeka and the expansion draft, but obviously, no bad blood between us, and I still respected him as a coach and as a person. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to reach out, get a little bit of insight of Harry. I know even last year you talked about how he knew him and all that stuff, and so I just wanted to get a little bit of like I said, like insight on Harry and the organization here. Also get to chat with him a little bit about my time in Roanoke, considering he spent, I think, 4 or 5 years here. So, but yeah, definitely was good to catch up with him and kind of just chat about everything. So,
but so when you got to Carolina, can you talk a little bit about who was the first person that you saw or got in contact with when you got to Twin City, when you got to Winston-Salem?
So the first person I had reached out to was my buddy from college, James Farmer. He's a defenseman here.
Mm-hmm.
We got to spend 2 years together in Morrisville. He's been a Thunderbird for the past 3 years. So obviously reached out to him. We talk a good amount still here and there. So he was obviously excited to have me there, come down. And then I also reached out to a defenseman who I played with in Athens, who had also just got traded to Twin City, who was Matt Garcia.
Right.
So gave them both a call and kind of was like, hey, just got traded. I'll be coming down tonight. And just kind of filled him in on what was going on.
And, other than those two, when did you get to meet Coach Harry?
I got to meet Coach Harry the next morning. They were nice enough to put me up in a hotel. I got in around like 10 o'clock, I believe it was a Tuesday night. And then we had practice on Wednesday morning. So just kind of headed to the rink and then got to meet Harry and all the team.
So your thoughts on Coach Harry, just because I had an interesting conversation. Well, not even a conversation. He kind of walked over to the locker room, and he had a pair of skates, and I kind of made a joke, and he just kind of looked at me, and I swear if he was 20 years younger, he probably would have decked me. And I was just making a joke about him walking in with the skates into the Black Bears locker room and then walking back out again. But what did you make of Coach Harry? I've heard nothing but great things about him.
Oh yeah, he was super welcoming from the start. Obviously we talked on the phone before I drove down to Winston-Salem, but yeah, obviously super welcoming. Just kind of like, anything you need, let me know. But yeah, so far it's been awesome here so far. But yeah, he was great. Obviously heard nothing but great things about him from Sherwood, from Rutledge, and even talking with Farmer and other guys I've known that have ever played here. So it's been very good. Everybody on the team's been super welcoming as well. So it's been a lot of fun so far.
So Chris, you've spent a couple games, actually 4 games as the visiting player coming in, both twice with Athens and of course twice with Twin City now. First of all, give me your thoughts on the visiting locker room. How terrible is it?
Oh, I think that's probably the nicest away room in the FPHL.
Really?
Yeah. It's very nice. I think they might have just brought whenever they must have redone the Senators room, or when was the last time they redone the home team room? But I think all those stalls just got moved over into the away room.
So it's a little bit. So it's a little bit better than what I remember.
Oh yeah, I think it's really nice actually. There's like 2 rooms. There's a coach's room. There's a training room. There's tons of space.
That's awesome. Okay, so you obviously got to play 2 games as a Thunderbird in Binghamton, and you scored 2 goals on Saturday night. I think they were both on the power play too, correct?
Yeah, they were.
And you were on a pretty good line. Talk a little bit about that line and how did that come together? I know you weren't playing your natural center position. You were playing on the wing, but still to be put on with, I think, Jan Salak and Gus Ford, those are 2 really good players to be put on. And then obviously in, Saturday's game, they trusted you pretty well. I mean, you got 2 goals.
Yeah. I remember I think it was the first meeting I really had with Harry. We were just chatting. He's like, yeah, I'm going to put you with Ford and Salak. I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is fun. This is awesome. So, but yeah, obviously those are two extremely skilled players with some crazy resumes. So definitely was like, I got to step up into this role and, be what they need me to be right now. But yeah, obviously getting the 2 goals felt pretty nice in Binghamton. That was also my first 2 goals of the season. So happy to kind of get that monkey off the back. But overall, it was a pretty good experience so far playing with Salak and Ford.
Now, is the plan going forward for you to stay with Salak and Ford?
I'm not too sure at the moment. I mean, he hasn't really mentioned anything otherwise, but But obviously this week has been a little bit of more of a down week just because we have an off weekend. So we haven't really we had like a little 3-on-3 tournament yesterday just for some fun. So.
And did you win?
No, my team did not win.
Oh, come on. That's no good. That's no good. So what is the plan for you this weekend? If you have an off weekend, you just came into town. I know tonight, as we're recording this here on Thursday, folks, and it's Sunday when you guys are going to start listening to this. I know that on Thursday night, you're going to have some dinner with some of the booster clubs. Booster clubs are so very important. They're just like the billets for junior hockey players, across North America. Billet families are so very important, but so are the booster club members. They do so much for the players. You know that being here in Binghamton, probably saw it in a couple other places that you were at as well. But what's the plan for the weekend? If it's an off weekend, a lot of the players have left to go home, but you're staying in town, right?
Yeah. A handful of us are still staying in town. Honestly, not much. We maybe thought about going to drive down to Charleston for the weekend, but a couple of guys had to back out. So honestly, just really gonna
chill,
use this time to kind of rest and relax. Which obviously you don't really get too much of throughout the year. So
yeah,
especially leading up into this last, say, third of the season into playoffs, I think it's a pretty good time to just hang out.
Okay, so now one of the things that I saw on national TV was that some of the players from the obviously the Twin City Thunderbirds, they didn't mention you guys by name on national news. I really wish they would have, but they did say a local minor hockey team helped shovel out the Bowman Gray Stadium, which is where they ran the Clash last night for NASCAR. And we were recording this on Thursday, and of course that was on Wednesday. And then I saw pictures of you or video of you actually at the Clash, the NASCAR Clash. How did that come to realm? And did some of the players from the Thunderbirds, shovel out Bowman Gray Stadium?
Yeah. I don't know the exact relationship they have with Bowman. Actually being here only a week or so, but when I first got here, there was only there's only I don't know, a few guys that were like, "Hey, does anybody want to come and shovel Bowman Gray?" To be honest, I didn't know what that was. A couple guys were like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it." So I just kind of ended up. I was like, "What even is that?" It's like, "Oh, they're hosting some NASCAR event this week, or it's supposed to be, I think, Sunday, but with the snow, it just kept getting pushed back more and more."
It went to Monday and then to Wednesday. Yep.
So yeah, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 guys went and were shoveling out the seats. But then yesterday they were like, "Oh, does anybody want to go? We got some tickets." So I was like, "Yeah, I've never been to a NASCAR event." I was definitely shocked with the size of the track.
It's small.
Did not know it was going to be that small. I was like, how is this even going to go? But it was a fun experience. The snow started coming down, a little bit of rain. So once that kept happening or started, it was just caution flag after caution flag after caution flag. But it was a pretty good experience so far.
Good team bonding thing to do too, right? Just to go and hang out and maybe even this upcoming weekend, if you see a couple of the guys, it really is about building that friendship and that bond a little bit more, because honestly, the rest of the way, Twin City's got to work hard and win some games to get themselves back in the playoffs. I know for a lot of the people that I've talked to that are either part of the Twin City organization or, the Thunderbirds over the last few years, they don't forget that they've lost twice to Binghamton in the championship. Do you feel like, even though you were on that team last year, guys were totally welcoming to you, having you on?
Oh yeah. You wouldn't think that I played for Binghamton the way that they were treating me. But yeah, no, all the older guys, Zach White, Gus Ford, Steven Batita, like everybody, just super, super welcoming from Harry down. So it was awesome. But yeah, obviously they make jokes here and there about it and about the Lobsters as well. But other than that, obviously, we're teammates now, and that's the past, and this is now. And obviously, you just gotta do a weekend and win some hockey games here out for the rest of the year.
Chris, can I ask you a weird question? Are you happy?
I am happy right now. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Obviously, just a bit of change the past month, kind of bouncing around, moving around, but so far, obviously, at the end of the day, I get to play the best sport in the world. So, I mean, can't really complain too much about that.
Now, will Ava come down and actually see you play down there at some point?
Hopefully she has some time. I know she's got a pretty big semester coming up. It's her last semester. Got some internships, got a couple jobs. So hopefully find some time, maybe during spring break, to come down. Obviously been fortunate enough she got to visit me down in Athens for Thanksgiving, and then she got to spend a good chunk of time with me in Roanoke during her winter break. So she's got to visit 2 out of 3 spots that I've been to so far. So I think it would only be right if she got to come down and visit Winston-Salem as well.
No, absolutely. And is it a little bit harder that she's further away now than before? Because I think when you were in Binghamton last year, she could be here almost all the time.
Yeah. Obviously, Binghamton was pretty close to Morrisville, so it was like only like an hour, 20-minute drive. So you get to see each other a few times a week, and on the weekends too. We have home games. But yeah, I mean, obviously, in this year during breaks, pretty busy. I'm busy as well, so just kind of trying to make the best of it. But being able to see each other for a good chunk of time in Roanoke was definitely nice. It wasn't just like a couple days or like a weekend. But obviously, I was able to see her when we were just up in Binghamton.
Good.
Both times when I came up with Athens, and then now at Twin City.
Yeah, I remember seeing her during the Athens trip and whatnot, especially after one of the games when you came over to the one corner to say hello to a few people. You and I had a little bit of a conversation, I think after the Sunday or the Saturday game, the high sticking call, you wanted to let me know that Gavin did high stick you, and that he actually came over and apologized, right? And for the high stick, I feel embarrassed. I want to apologize to you for miscalling that. When you look at it real time, that was difficult, but when you look at it again and again, okay, I see the high stick there.
Yeah. I mean, not just you. A couple other people were like, oh, I just embellished that. I was like, no, like, you got me in the visor, and right away he was like, my bad. And I was like, yeah, it's hockey.
But it's not that players don't embellish the high stick every once in a while or a certain penalty, because it does help, right? It does. I mean, there's a little theatrics that can happen there, right? I'm not saying that you did. I'm just saying it is possible.
Absolutely, yeah. You gotta sell it a little bit.
Yeah,
you are putting a show on for the fans.
Now, were you surprised that Gavin came over and apologized?
Oh, well, it was just like, he didn't like come over and apologize. It was just like right as it happened. Like, it just kind of like came up, he hurt, like got me, and he was like, my bad. And I think it was like all right before the puck was even, or the whistle was even blown.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Gavin's a great guy. I love Gavin to death and everything. So I'll defend him to the T. That was not a high stick, but no, it was. I feel bad about calling it out, because I have a relationship with you just as much as I do with him. So, Chris, what is your goal for the rest of this season? What are you hoping to get out of your time in Twin City?
Well, obviously, number one is you want to win hockey games. You want to win a championship. So that's always the goal. Yeah. And I know, obviously, the rest of the year we've got some big games that we got to win. So obviously, that's number one on the schedule. And number two, I guess, would obviously be to continue to continue to just develop my game as a player. Hopefully now being here, Twin City, maybe could step up into a little bit more of a role than where I have been the past year or so, and I kind of like on that third line. So I'm just kind of build some confidence and keep onto that confidence, and just kind of keep trying to get better every day. Push
Gus Ford out of that number one center role.
I don't mind playing with him, so if he wants it, we can. I could play on his right.
Become a power play specialist.
Yeah, maybe have that in my toolbox.
Oh, awesome! No, that's great. Well, you've already got 2 under your belt, right? So you can't complain with that at all. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. It was good talking to you. I know the fans will really enjoy hearing from you. You obviously see it, whenever Binghamton fans talk about Binghamton players. Once a Black Bear, always a Black Bear. So they're always going to welcome you here in Binghamton. I didn't hear too many cheers for your goals on Saturday night, but I know fans were happy with you, are happy for you. They're happy for Cade Henry and all these other guys that have left and had some success and everything. So, but it was a pleasure to have you back on again.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Obviously, it was a great time going back to Binghamton and playing there and playing in front of all of them. Even just the support of fans that usually come by the locker room and stuff like that after the games, just signing some autographs. Got to see some old families that I was doing private lessons for their sons,
that's
which
awesome.
is pretty cool as well. Got to see a booster family that a few of us would go and get dinner with like once a month last year. So definitely good to see those people and see the support that I still have from the Binghamton hockey community.
And that matters too, right? It really does.
Yeah, it definitely does for sure.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again in the future, and maybe another Twin City Binghamton championship series, right?
Yeah, you never know. So
awesome.
But yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, and we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. That was our friend Chris Mott. Glad to be able to back up with him, and which was pretty cool. And of course, he did score 2 goals against the Binghamton Black Bears, part of that 3-game losing streak. But, sometimes you kind of have to look across the aisle and go, okay, he used to play for us and he used to play with us. And you kind of wish him well, even though you don't always want to wish him well against yourselves. But anyway, support the Power Play Post Show by subscribing on YouTube. When you subscribe and like episodes, it signals to YouTube that the hockey fans are engaging, which helps recommend the show to more viewers. As our community grows, we're able to deliver more interviews, insights, and hockey discussions. Subscribing and liking is the most effective way and completely free way to support the show. Join fellow hockey fans and subscribe on YouTube today. Taylor, we have a game on Saturday. God, it seemed kind of similar to Friday night.
Yeah, it was like deja vu.
Yeah, you used that in your Impacts players report this morning.
I did. I definitely did. It was a perfect opportunity for me to use it.
Yep.
Back-to-back, Tomei earns his second 5-0 shutout over the Sentinels on Saturday night, February 7th, 2025, Visions Veterans Memorial Arena, Game 38 of the season, Indiana Sentinels at Binghamton Black Bears. Binghamton opened the scoring midway through the first period, capitalizing on the Sentinels' penalty, with Indiana's Romeo Terrain serving a high-sticking minor. Scott Ramakers scored the game's first goal on the power play at the 13:46 mark. Kyle Steffen and Nick Swain picked up assists on the play, giving the Black Bears a 1-0 lead. They carried through the opening frame. Indiana was whistled for multiple penalties in the period, sending Binghamton Binghamton to the power play several times, while the Black Bears made the most of their opportunity late in the period.
All right. So this game was first responders night, and they had the specialty jerseys. And, I'll tell you what, close up, Taylor, I got a close up look at the emblem that was on there. It was stitched on, very, very nicely done. That part of the jersey I liked a lot. The colors I like. It was just the way they were presented that maybe wasn't one of my favorites. But the emblem that was stitched on, I got to be honest with you, that looked sharp close up when you were looking at it close. I know probably the closest you guys got was during the jersey auctions. Did you guys' opinions of the jerseys change at all?
I mean, mine didn't, but I liked him to begin with anyways.
Yeah.
And I know his biggest thing was that he just didn't like the colors on top of each other, which I kind of liked because, the last several seasons they've been the side to side where it's split. One side's red and one side's blue. So I kind of liked the difference in the jerseys this year compared to how they normally look. But I honestly really like them. And, I like that they were stitched on both sides. I know that's, always a question that's asked for the jersey auctions.
Yes.
And something that Brooks made a point to kind of say that they're sewn on the front and on the back. So that was a nice touch. And I think overall they just do a great job with the jerseys in general. And I really liked them.
The jersey auction started, and what was really cool was that Brooks did mention where the jersey money was going to, which was the Heart Association, right, in Binghamton?
Yeah, the American Heart Association, yep.
That's what it was. And he even called you out and said, Taylor, did you write that down?
Yeah, I was in the middle of talking to a fan who I had been speaking to, the entire game, and she came up to me to find me during the before the jersey auction had started, and all of a sudden I just heard Brooks saying my name, and like if I got that and I was ready to go. So I never at any point thought that I would be a person of interest when it came to these jersey auctions, that people paid that much attention to me being there. I definitely thought I was just somebody that kind of like sat in the background and just recorded these numbers for people who were curious, and now it's like been this huge staple that people are always looking forward to the jersey auction. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool. Obviously he knows that you keep track of it, post it out there. I think people look forward to that. I love the fact that you weren't sure about a couple of the numbers and then you got the corrections. I think it was $17,000, which is just a great charity, great cause. Glad that they can do that one every single year. The Heart Cup game, I was there for part of it. I got to see the last 30 minutes. I know it was a 10-4 win for the fire department. They do have Jerry Domingo, who is the assistant coach now for the Binghamton Black Bears. He played on it. Gino D'Angelo played for the Binghamton Police Department because he's now a Binghamton police officer. So you do have two professionals that played at two different levels of hockey playing on the two teams. I'm pretty sure Domingo did get 2 goals in the game, had a bunch of assists as well. And the fire department kind of cleaned house a little bit, but great turnout for it, Taylor. I know you guys weren't there, but there was at least 900, maybe 1,000 people already there at the arena for that game. And it was the 40th year that the game happened. So excellent on everybody. It's always a great game, and it's meant a lot to the Binghamton Police Department and the Binghamton Fire Department to be able to put on that game, maybe raise some money for charity. Just an overall great event.
Yeah, I haven't been to one of those games yet. We just, can't ever find the time to make it early enough to the arena. But It sounds like it's always interesting to watch, and it's always kind of like a fun thing to do. And it's been kind of good to know that, as the years go on, it kind of like continues to improve, kind of like the Black Bears. Like, the attendance is constantly going up, yes. Or, we're constantly doing better than the year before. So it's nice to know that that's kind of like a theme here in general in Binghamton.
All right, I agree 100%. All right, scratches in the game was Wyatt Freelander, Sorota, and Kirkby still up in the SPHL. Starters was Yvonne Bondarenko, CJ Stubbs, Mac Jansen, Austin DeRazio, Dan Stone, Dominic Tomei. Really liked the puck possession of the Black Bears in the first period. I think they would have liked to have more than just one goal in the first 20 minutes. The Friday night game had 3 goals in the first 20 minutes, but they ended the weekend pretty nicely with 3 goals in the third period of this particular game. There were a few missed chances that they would have liked to have gotten for sure. The Sentinels played a solid defensive game, but cannot keep up with the Black Bears. They just cannot get into the zone, stay in there, that type of thing. The Black Bears had 5 chances on the power play, but was only able to get 1 goal to show for it. That is something that the Black Bears and this is the one where I could understand we should have gotten more from the 5 power play chances. What did you see? Because you were down at that end of the ice, obviously closer to, in this case, John Werber, when the Black Bears did have 5 power play chances in the first period. What did you see that maybe wasn't clicking, or that the Black Bears couldn't get more than the 1 power play goal? Or actually, they didn't get any power play goal.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything on the Black Bears end. I truly just think that, after the game, Friday night, that there was probably some strong words in, the locker room for the Sentinels.
Yeah.
And, there was probably a lot of discussion going on. And I think that they put Werber in, and he just played phenomenally. I think, and I wouldn't have guessed that. I kind of looked at his numbers on Friday night, and because I wanted to see which one of the 2 was the better goalie. And, his numbers, they didn't impress me that much by any means, but he definitely, I think he played a phenomenal game on Saturday to kind of limit the amount of goals that we ended up, that the Black Bears did get.
Right. The Sentinels really only had 2 real chances. The third shot was from the neutral zone and was really, honestly, ineffective. Power play opportunities, Binghamton was 1 for 5, so they did get a power play goal. And then Indiana did not have a chance on the power play. Shots on goal was Binghamton 15 and Indiana 3. Boy, I made that mistake there again. Haven't done that in like 2 months on the outlines. But yes, Binghamton had 15 shots on goal. Indiana had 3. Let's go into the second period.
The Black Bears added to their lead early in the second period as Jacob Shankar scored his 3rd goal of the season, just 3:12 into the middle frame to give Binghamton a 2-0 advantage. Emerson Emery and Dan Weber earned assists on the goal. Both teams traded penalties as the period progressed, with Binghamton and Indiana each seeing time shorthanded. Despite the special teams activity, neither side added to the scoring for the remainder of the period. Through 40 minutes of play, Binghamton controlled the shots totals, holding a 34-9 advantage over Indiana.
Yeah, let's be honest here, right? If you get only 9 shots on goal in 40 minutes, but you're giving up 34, it is not a good recipe to win a game. All right, just 29 seconds into the period, into the middle frame, the Black Bears thought they had scored a goal, but the referees blew the whistle when the puck went in on Werber. They reviewed and said the whistle blew before the puck crossed the crease. This even happens at the NHL level, where sometimes the whistle is blown beforehand. And the one thing that even with video review that leagues have never wavered on, if the whistle is blown, they usually do not overturn the goal. Even if they feel like the referee shouldn't have blown the whistle, they don't overturn it. It's part of the game that has really never changed, even with video review. So I hope everybody understands that. I didn't see a lot of complaints, but I don't, obviously today I had a very busy day. Taylor knows. I'm not going to go into details for everyone because honestly, it was a really crappy day. I really need the drum roll there, the little, but it was a really crappy day. So, yeah, let's just be honest. I didn't read a lot of the fan stuff on that, whether or not anyone complained about it, but that is a thing that happens even at the NHL level, where if the whistle blows, they just don't allow the goal. So
yeah, I don't think it happened. I don't think there was any complaints about it. And
Good.
I don't know if there was necessarily like if anybody was upset about them not allowing it, or if it was more like, at this point in the game we were already down to 1 ref, so maybe there was just they were kind of cutting him some slack because he's got to pay attention to a lot more.
Yeah.
So either way, yeah, I haven't seen anything about the disallowed goal. I don't think anybody was upset about it, honestly. I mean, of course, you would like for it to be a goal, but I don't think there was any, hate towards the ref or anger about not allowing the goal.
I thought the refs played very well. I know in the second period we lose one of the refs and he goes off. I mentioned that in the third period notes, but realistically, I thought both teams played physical enough that they could kind of make their point, get their point across, but it didn't get too crazy, Taylor, this weekend, which is okay. I mean, I would have probably not mind if Emery and Calazio or one of the guys on their team would have dropped the gloves. I would have been fine with that. I actually think that for entertainment purposes, one fight each night would have been okay. It wouldn't have really hurt the flow of the game or anything.
So funny enough, you remember the issue with Yates and Colarusso?
Yeah.
So after that, I think it was before the third period, it was during the second intermission, I had actually gone up to get candy. And I had gone down through the tunnel, and Colarusso was down there kneeling, talking to, I don't know if it was somebody with his team, but I don't know who it was.
Right.
And he was like, because obviously Yates was trying to get him to drop the gloves. You could very well tell that that's what Yates was trying to do. And he's down there telling this guy that he's like, oh, well, I told Yates that I would have fought him. Like I dropped the gloves and go with him. I'm like, but you didn't. So I thought it was so funny. It was like just something that I kind of caught, and I came back and told him, and he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, apparently he would have fought him, but he just, I guess, didn't want to do it then. I don't really know. But
yeah, and Gavin doesn't drop the gloves a lot. It has to be it has to be on purpose or whatever. I mean, I think Emery and Shankar would have dropped the gloves a lot more times more than Gavin will. But if Gavin's pissed off enough, he'll get into one of those. But again, my point is, one fight in either game would have been absolutely fine. All right. The hustle on the Shankar goal by the whole 5 players on the ice was amazing, and the Sentinels just didn't have an answer for the Black Bears' speed on Saturday night. I don't know what the rules are as well as the referees, and this is sarcasm, all right? So I got to put the sarcasm tags up, right? I don't know the rules as well as the referees, but the Dan Weber boarding call was wrong. Call interference, call tripping. That's not a board. All right? You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I kind of had asked Jeremy about it because I was like, isn't this the one that you were talking about where it wasn't boarding? And he was like, yeah, it was. And I think, quite a few people would agree with you. And I think that's kind of probably where refs get, a lot of the hate from is, calling something differently than how it should have been called.
Right.
And I think this is one of those cases because if you're going to make it's a penalty either way, how you want to call it, but just make the right call about it, kind of.
And I'm on the fence on whether or not it was an actual penalty, right? But okay, fine. But at least it's not boarding. It wasn't boarding. At the 9:23 mark of the second period, there was a pileup in front of Donna McTomay, and then Scott Romkers was put into the penalty box. But when the refs went to review the play, it ended up still only being a 2-minute minor. I think because they called slashing, and then they went and reviewed. Now, the only thing I could think of is they thought maybe this is a major penalty or a match penalty, and so they went back and they reviewed, and they came back out, and it was only a 2-minute call. I like the fact, Taylor, and I know we question sometimes, all right, what are they doing? What are they reviewing? And we don't ever really get the answer, right? But we kind of know from just knowing the rule book a little bit that a lot of times if there's a penalty called and they go to review it, it's because they're checking to see if it's a matching penalty or a match penalty at all. And because they're trying to review to make sure that they get that called right at the thing. I don't mind that. I thought I was going to hate it, and I don't mind it as much because I know sometimes it's going to go against the team and sometimes it's going to go for the team. And in this case, I think it went for the team.
Yeah, I think as far as player safety kind of thing, being able to go in and review plays, even if it's, a slashing that requires 4 minutes type of thing. I think having the ability for them to kind of go in and review stuff, I think kind of helps as far as, player safety and kind of making sure that they're handling the game, in a way that's going to kind of keep the players from maybe going too far or doing something that's going to, seriously hurt somebody. But yeah, in this case, it did go for us. It ended up being only 2 minutes, which is, not a big deal. They have the number one penalty kill. So it's not, again, it's not anything.
Number one? They have the number one. Are you sure about that? We haven't talked about that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's been, I think it's been number one the entire season. So it has. I don't think we've ever seen that number drop, which is, I think, crazy to me. But it's, just, I think It doesn't matter if they're in the box or not in the boxes. And I don't think it makes any difference to the team, honestly.
I feel like Mac Jansen got into the heads of the Sentinels on Saturday night. All the players kept going after him at one point during the game. So I kind of like that. A little psychology there by Mac Jansen. Good period for the Black Bears, but they need to cash in on more chances. You know, it was only 2-0 there. Power play opportunities, Binghamton 0 for 1. Indiana was 0 for 3. Shots on goal, Binghamton 19 and Indiana 9. Totals was 34-9, which I think is what it was after the 40 minutes of the first game. Or maybe not. Maybe not. It was maybe a little bit closer. But either way, let's go into the third period.
Binghamton put the game out of reach early in the third period, extending its lead to 3-0, just 3:33 into the final frame. When Dan Stone scored his 6th goal of the season, CJ Stubbs recorded the lone assist on the play. The Black Bears continued to add on as Jacob Shankar scored his 2nd goal of the game at the 4:46 mark, finishing the play set up by Nick Swain and Emerson Emery to make it 4-0. Mac Jansen closed out the scoring midway through the period, netting his 25th goal of the season. With 8:49 remaining, Scott Ramekers and Ivan Bondarenko assisted on the goal, giving Binghamton a 5-0 advantage. No penalties were assessed in the third period.
Yeah, very interesting there. I think everyone just kind of played a clean game, and I think the referees were just trying to get through the game as quickly as possible. The shutout marked Binghamton's 2nd consecutive 5-0 win over Indiana in the 2-game set. Dominic Tomei earned his 3rd shutout of the season in goal for the Black Bears. The Black Bears played so consistent over the last 2 games. The defensive game by all the players was on point. I think between Friday's game and Saturday's game, and this is key here because we talk about this all the time, there might have been only 2 or 3 odd man rushes between both games, Taylor. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know that's definitely something that we've talked about before because it was, kind of something we've seen with mostly Watertown, in my opinion, where you kind of see the odd man rushes happening quite often. So I think maybe it's something they talked about, and maybe it's something they've worked on, during practices, is to either kind of limit that or be prepared so that they're able to stop those.
Yeah, this felt like a normal third period for the Black Bears. Spend so much team in the offensive zone, so much time in the offensive zone, and then cash in on great opportunities. Dominic Tomei was solid in that all weekend long. Great to see Jacob Shankar get into a groove. He was so happy. I think no matter what line he's on, he will produce if given the right amount of ice time. Secondary scoring for Scott Ramekers and Dan Stone is huge for the Black Bears. First time in franchise history that the Black Bears shut out an opponent at home on Friday and Saturday back-to-back. Big test this upcoming weekend with the Port Huron Prowlers in Michigan. Cam Servone is happy to be going home to his home state. He has friends and family that will be coming to see him while they're out there. He is the only Michigan-born guy on the team right now. And then referee Derek Wozniak fell on the ice in the second period and clearly hurt his elbow. He did finish the second period. We hope he heals up quickly and is back on the ice in short time. I know that you heard about the injury. I don't really like talking about specifics on the injuries. It was definitely in his arm. And whatever happened. He finished out the period, which I was surprised on, especially after hearing about what the injury was. But then he did not come out for the third period. But we hope he gets well soon. Again, I know the villains of almost every single game for every single fan is the referees. But dudes, they are humans and they don't need to get hurt on the job either.
It was the first period when it happened, and then he finished.
Oh,
yeah, he finished out the first period, and then I noticed in the second period that we were down to 1 ref, and I've seen nothing but just kind of the hope of him recovering quickly and kind of getting back out there, kind of thing. So
yeah,
there's been nothing negative said about that, which is great. But yeah, it was in the first period when it happened, and I don't know how, you could definitely tell that he was hurting. He was definitely struggling to kind of finish it out, but he finished out the first period.
Okay. First period, and then he was out which was fine. And I think the other referee did a really good job trying to maintain good order in the game, which 100% did. And yes, folks, I know, mark the calendar. Somebody said on a podcast or a talk show somewhere that a referee did, or a group of referees did a good job. But honestly, I think part of that is also players, right? The players have to also kind of like be good as well. They have to be, good good guys on the ice, right? To make sure that the referees don't become the enemy of the game sometimes like they do. But hopefully he gets better soon. I do know, I heard from Gary Ryan, who spoke to the league. The referee is covered under USA Hockey, so he's a part of a group that will help with his medical expenses in this time. So that's the important thing there, is that the referee's not coming in just getting paid $50 to call a game in and leave. He's a part of a group of officials that will, that there's, so, which is good. I did not know that ahead of time. Gary told me that earlier today, so that's good to hear as well. All right. Power play opportunities, Binghamton 0 for 0, Indiana 0 for 0. Shots on goal, Binghamton 18, Indiana 7. You cannot beat the Black Bears with only 7 shots on goal. Binghamton's totals were 52. Indiana only had 16. Taylor, let's wrap this one up.
Back-to-back 5-0 shutouts for Tomei. Jacob Shankar scored his 3rd and 4th goals of the season. Scott Ramaker scored his 8th goal of the season and assisted on another for a 2-point night. Dan Stone scored his 6th goal of the season. Mac Jansen scored his 25th goal of the season. Dominic Tomei saved all 16 shots, earning his 2nd straight shutout, winning his 18th game and improving to 18-2-0. The Black Bears record drops to drops.
Yeah, I wrote that wrong.
So was it 32 and?
Yeah, it's 32 and 5
now.
It's 32 and 5.
Okay, 30.
The record improved too.
To 32, 5-1 with 95 points. Yet the Black Bears are still atop of the Empire Division.
I totally screwed that whole line up for Taylor. I threw her under the bus. That's what you get for going on vacation.
You're just mad because it's warm down here and you had to be outside in the cold weather today. It's fine.
Oh yes, I am at 100%. I wrote this while angry and shivering. All right, so coming up this Thursday on the Power Play Post Show. Oh, wait, you're supposed to read that. Well, I'll let you read it then.
Oh, no, thanks. Coming this Thursday on the Power Play Post Show, Bob will preview the 2 upcoming games versus the Port Huron Prowlers, as I will be, at a racetrack somewhere as he's doing the show. So look for show updates on interviews and Bob's preview of the Black Bears versus the Prowlers.
Okay, so Taylor, give me your thoughts about this upcoming weekend. What do you think we will see, and what are you hoping for when it's all said and done?
I think it depends a little bit. So I think if we get Tyson back, it'll be interesting to see, kind of obviously how the lineup changes a little bit to see. Yeah. Obviously your 10th forward, we'd be back kind of thing. And, we'd actually have a healthy scratch, which we haven't had for a little bit now. So if Tyson comes back, it'll be interesting to see, because I think you would expect a lot from him. Against Port Huron. I think that's just, kind of the consensus is that you just expect a lot from Tyson to begin with. Right. If Tyson isn't back, I don't think anything changes. I think they keep it the same. And I think we see the same play that we saw this weekend, where the Black Bears just do what they've been doing all season and they dominate.
Yeah, I think it depends on the physicality from the Port Huron Prowlers, how physical and how do the Black Bears react to it. Do they skate around the physicality and kind of try to get away from it and just play their game? That's one thing. Do they react to the physicality and get into the muck, get into the shit, as sometimes we say about hockey and how hockey might be played? Those things are really going to be the key here. I personally think it's going to possibly be a split where the Black Bears may, lose the first game after some travel, blah, 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 all that stuff. I know it sounds like an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's part of the game. It's what happens. Guys might come in not as fresh on Friday, but then boom, get a good night's sleep on the second night in a hotel, come in on Saturday and get the win. Do I hope they win both games? Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. You know why? Because Chris Paulin will be amazing afterwards if we win both of those games. Am I wrong, Taylor?
No, we're making some more funny commentary out of him. And I still got to print my posters, but I got to redo them now because, Mac and Animal just had to go and play somewhere else. And now I got to, redo my salary cap picture all over again.
Speaking of that,
they found a way to fit all those guys in the salary cap, which I'm impressed with. It's a great job by them.
So that's why I'm hoping that the Black Bears win. Not because I want the 2 wins. Oh, absolutely, I want the 2 wins. Of course I want the 2 wins. But it's stuff like this.
Yeah, I think it's nice that they're very fat and happy over there.
Oh, my God. It's the way he says fat and happy over there. It's
like the cherry on top. You know, if you can win both games and you got Chris Paul and, you know, because he's trying to say it in a way that, like, I don't even know how, like, he would be great at selling for WWE, honestly. Like,
100%.
He could sell anything.
100%. I think he needs to be a back office commentator, or just give him like 3 minutes to talk about the heels and the good guys, you know, that night on Raw, something like that. I think he would be perfect for that. Or a manager. He could be like Paul Heyman, but like on whatever show Paul Heyman's not on, he could be on doing the same type of thing, you know, talking. Either way, it should be a lot of fun. Taylor, listen. From all of us here at the Power Play Post Show, which is me, and all the fans that you have, listen, have a great week at the racetracks in Florida, enjoying the sun, because your punishment after that is having to come back and deal with us here at the Power Play Post Show, but also there's still going to be some freaking snow here, even though by the end of the week it should start warming up and get into the 30s, which will be very nice. But enjoy your vacation. You guys definitely deserve it.
Yeah, everybody's hoping that I, tie up this warm weather and drag it back with us. So maybe I'll see what I can do.
All right.
But hopefully it's, we stop getting the negative wind chill. I think if that stops, it'll be all right.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Don't need that. Don't need to wake up at -8 degrees tomorrow. That would be very nice here at Box Studios. All right. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search for the Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net. Thank you to Rob LaPaulis, our MC, John Petitucci, our musical director, and from the Binghamton Black Bears, Gehrett Sargis, for answering 6 more questions, and from the Twin City Thunderbirds, Chris Mott. I am Bob Howard. She, unfortunately, is a lot warmer than me, and she is
Taylor Welch.
And we'll be back next week, or this upcoming Thursday. I'll be back. I'll talk to somebody. I don't know who it is yet, but I'll talk to you guys next time right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Petitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.